Hey there, and welcome to the Business of Business podcast. Here we are two daughters and their dad, seeking to inspire and educate you to follow your dreams of being in business by teaching you the business of being in business. The good, the bad, the humor are all parts of our unique perspective as an entrepreneurial family. Thanks for joining us. So grab a coffee, turn up the volume. Here we go. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Business of Business podcast, Two Daughters and Their Dad. I'm your host, Stacey J. Dempsey. And like always, I am here with the dad, the one and only dad, and the other daughter. There's other multiple daughters, but she is the daughter on this podcast. It's very important. Good afternoon to Jack and Jennifer. Hi, guys.
Hey.
Good afternoon. And not only do I have a lot of daughters, I've just realized from this past weekend, I got a lot of granddaughters too. So
Really?
I am daughtered up. So.
Yes, you are. It wasn't it when you traveled to Africa that they said that a man that has many daughters is very rich?
Yeah, they called white men in Uganda Mazungas. And so I was telling some of the Uganda men that I was working with about how many daughters I had. And they said, oh, rich Mazunga. I'm like, well, how do you figure? And then they started describing like how much they have to pay the father to marry the daughters. And I'm thinking, well, it don't work like that in our world. It's like dad has to pay for a lot of that wedding stuff. I said, I like your way better.
I was gonna say,
I think these guys need to come and pay me.
Yeah, so, we need to start adopting
that's right.
Some of the ways over there here in the U.S. But nevertheless, we digress to part
I thought
two.
That was interesting. Actually, that was probably interesting bit of tidbit there for people.
It is very interesting.
Yeah.
But really, we're super fired up today.
That's what I am. I'm the broke Mazunga.
Don't let him lie.
Yeah, listeners, to our listeners, don't listen. There's a reason he has this podcast, sharing all the secrets and because the things have worked. So we'll just.
All right, let's move on now. We can move on now.
But nevertheless, we're super fired up today because we are here with part two on the conversation of marketing and selling. But today we want to talk about what that looks like for the established business, because it can look very different when we first start out in our businesses, compared to when we're 5, 10, 15 years down the road or even longer, and really what our marketing and selling should look like and the things that we have learned from, the previous years of our marketing and selling. So Jen, I want to throw it to you because I know that before we hit record, we were talking a little bit about, when you first started out, you were casting the wide net. Now we're 5 years down the road here, and just the information that you have gathered that helps you determine how you're going to market, who you're going to market to, and then when selling and getting people into the studio, what that looks like now. So why don't you, continue on that thought process for our listeners?
Yeah. So in part one, we were talking about how, we're just really trying to get our business name out there and casting this wide vision and doing all the things. And really making sure that we're diligent in collecting the data to figure out what works and what doesn't work. And one thing that I do inside of my business is every time we have a new guest walk into our building, we're asking them, how did you hear about our business? So, what I have found over the years is we have two major reasons or ways that we get new guests inside of our building. And that is 1, referrals, and 2, social media. So in our marketing strategy inside of my business, we really focus mainly on those two ways of marketing. So now, does that mean that we don't try other things? Of course we do. But the main focus is on social media and referrals.
And Jen, so just share a little bit with the listeners about what that, 5 years ago, what did that look like compared to now? Do you now know that you just need to focus the majority of your time pushing things out there on social media, encouraging, the other stylists, to post their work on social media, referral programs? Like, has there been things that have worked in, since those are your two outlets that you like to focus on? Are there things within those outlets that work and don't work now versus 5 years ago?
Of course. I think that, we always knew that inside of our industry, referrals work, right? So we know that early on in our business, we used to give money off, for example, right? So we would say, refer someone into our business, you'll get $20 off and they'll get $20 off. As we have grown over the 5 years, it served its purpose. I mean, everybody likes money off, right? But what I have realized over the 5 years is that I try very, very hard to not be a discount establishment, if that makes sense. So instead of giving discounts, we started turning to loyalty, right? Because we have customers, clients, guests that come into our business consistently, and they're loyal to our business. So we want to be able to reward them. At the same time, when we're looking at the bigger picture, we have customers saying, well, you're constantly giving money off to new clients. What about the loyal ones? Right? Sometimes they can get lost in the shuffle of trying to attract new customers, new clients into your business. So I will say that it worked, and it's worked for its purpose. And as we've grown our business, that was the reflection that, at first it was, if you're new, we're giving you $20. And then we moved into, well, if you're new and whoever referred you, we're going to give you money. And now we've moved into more of just a loyalty program altogether. So instead of giving money off, we actually give away free services to our loyal clients. So that has evolved over the years. Different stages in your business, you have to reflect on, yes, it worked, but that doesn't mean that it's going to work in the next season of your business. So that's kind of how that has grown. Also, our business has grown, and, my mindset as a leader, and what kind of guests and clients are we attracting, into our business. We really don't want people coming into our business just because they want $20 off. Right.
Well, and that brings me to the next part of that, is that not only do you know the avenues that will work best for your business, but you also now have a much better understanding of the type of clients and guests that you want coming into your business, right?
Of course. And that, again, startup business, we just want everybody and anybody. We just need to make sure we're making enough money to pay our bills at the end of the day. Once we grow our demand of our business, we can start to become a little bit more of a vision of what type of clientele do we want to come into our business. And really market to those type of clients. It's funny when you're saying that. I remember, the last salon I worked in, my mentor, and she's like, listen, when you're going out and you're marketing yourself and you're handing out your cards and you're talking to people, you want to go to the women that look like they have their hair done, that their hair is done, right? So, that was always her advice of like, those are the type of people that you want. You don't want to go to someone who isn't in the hair salon, right? So the goal is to have the whole family come into our business. We want the mom, we want the dad, we want the sister, we want the brother. But the ultimate goal is to really what in our services makes us the most money, and that's what we want to focus on, and everything else will come, because we're going to take great care of those top services that they're going to want their whole family to come to us. So we're not going to spend time, money, energy in our marketing to market to anything less than what we really want. We're going to give amazing services to the guests that we want. And because of that, they're going to bring their whole family into our business. But, I think that that's a hard place to get to, because at first you're like, it doesn't matter. I will literally braid your cat's tail if I have to.
Right.
I will do whatever it takes. And the beauty of, as your business grows, you can start to be picky and choosy of where you're going to spend your time and what you're going to do.
Well, I think that's some really good insight, because you see a lot of businesses, to get people's attention, they do, give a certain percentage off or a certain dollar amount off. And then you also see businesses that, they kind of get stuck in that people kind of expect. They've kind of built a clientele where people are expecting for you to give them a discount, give them some money off, and they kind of just stay in that cycle where they constantly have to discount their services, when really their talent and, the experience and whatnot, really should be, paid for, much more. And so it's great that you have been able to evolve and really understanding and taking feedback from your guests. I think that's incredibly important in the marketing. I know within our business, because we're coming up on the holiday season. Years ago, it was like, we're all send out gifts and, trying different things over the years. And I think we sent out this card, where if they showed the card, the client could get a percentage off at that restaurant or whatever. And the feedback was, I don't want to have to spend money, Stacy, to use your gift. And it was like, oh, wow. I mean, certainly that was not our intention, right? It was not our thought process, but that was incredibly good feedback, because we weren't thinking about it
Right.
in that way. So I think it's really important to, to really be able to take a step back and accept that feedback. And maybe sometimes it feels like a little bit of criticism, but that feedback to say, all right, you know what? I wasn't thinking about it in that way. And now my marketing, my, programs and whatnot within my business can change. So now in our business, I can't knock 20 bucks off. So I know that's, and certainly, Jack, you've experienced it for 30 plus years of not having that avenue per se when it comes to setting out marketing, and really on the sales side, that we can't use that avenue to say, come on in and we'll take 20 bucks off your car insurance. That would end you up in jail. So thank God, Jack, the rich man with lots of daughters, isn't doing that. So tell our listeners, Jack, a little bit about your thought process on marketing now, 30 plus years in business.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we can't offer discounts, as you said, but certainly a big part of marketing in our business is, the potential for savings over, where you're carrying your coverages or things like that now. So, I mean, we do offer that in our marketing, but you're right. We can't say come in and, and we'll give you a $20 discount or $50 discount to do business with it. So, but I think, one of the things that just came out of that conversation with Jen is, I think that's the next best big business idea, is braiding cats' tails. Because Yeah, I mean, that would be, you could figure that out and not get in trouble that you're kind of hurting the cat. You might have something there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
we have Janet pointing to
Her
her
dog.
her pup there,
Right.
who would look fabulous with a French twist braid down the back. Oh my goodness, I see the vision now. Let's write the business
So,
plan.
yeah, so I think with the established business, and Jen kind of alluded to this, is, once you kind of get the business going, then you really want to think about your brand and developing your brand, depending on, the type of business you're in. But, pretty much any business, you want to build you want to build a brand, you want to build a following around your brand. So, again, obviously Jen's business, with the beauty business, start to build the brand and kind of what they stand for, attracting the client that they want to work with. Because again, that client's going to refer to like-minded clients like them, so so you can really start to percolate your customer base down to really a more target or niche type of customer. Building that brand is something that's very important. That when people hear of the product or service that that you're providing, your brand comes to mind.
Dempsey, Weiss & Associates is a multi-line insurance agency successfully meeting the insurance and financial needs of the landscaping, business contractor, and agricultural community in southern New Jersey and southeastern Pennsylvania since 1989. To learn more, visit us at www.dempseyweiss.com.
That's what you would be trying to achieve with your marketing, is that brand awareness, because you want to you have a customer base, you have a client base, you want to keep them coming back, and you want to get them referring people to your business, so again, it could be a coffee shop. You might have a coffee shop, so you might decide that you want to build it around the coffee, or you might want to build it the different types of coffee and the different options, or you might want to build it around the other things that they can serve with the coffee, or you might want to be promoting the atmosphere of the coffee shop, to come and relax and have a cup of coffee and meet with friends, but you want to just be driving that kind of what that message is around your particular brand. So because that's what keeps people coming back, is they keep that experience going. The other thing I think it's important for more established business is to be nimble, because one of the things I've seen, and we've all seen it over the past 15 years, is companies start out, they grow very quickly, they build a customer base, but they're not nimble. And so as things change, they grow, but they get rigid, and they kind of do things in certain lanes. And then when things change, they've gotten so rigid, they're just not nimble enough to change. Excuse me. So like the classic example is Blockbuster. You had Blockbuster out there. They had Blockbuster stores everywhere. You went and rented videos, and of course, you always pay these insane late fees because you were, a day late dropping it off, and here comes Netflix, right? Well, Blockbuster had an opportunity, to embrace that Netflix model, but decided not to, because they didn't want to give up the late fees on the videos. All right. Well, now let's fast forward to today. Netflix is, out there doing all kinds of stuff, cutting edge. And where's Blockbuster? Gone. I mean, they've just disappeared from the face of the planet, so here's a multi-billion-dollar company now that doesn't exist because they weren't nimble. And so you have to, even as smaller business, you got to be careful, that you don't grow yourself to the point where you can't be nimble enough to make moves to reflect, because I mean, we can all agree things are changing faster and faster. Technology is accelerating, almost every area of life, especially in business. And so you have to keep yourself nimble enough that you can change, because if you don't, then you can't compete. If Jen gets so rigid in her business as she grows, and here comes this startup salon, that has all these different ways to do things because they're able to do it, through technology, then next thing you know, she's losing customers because that new startup is able to be nimble, and that her business is too rigid to do it. So that is a very important component when it comes to looking at your business, marketing, clients. You should be evaluating that all the time. And then the last thing I would say is just the application of the Pareto principle, which is 80-20. So basically means that 80% of your revenue, 80% of your profit is going to come from about 20% of your clients or customers. And so really identifying who is that 20%, because at the end of the day, that's where you want to be investing your marketing dollars, is in that 20%. And too many businesses I've found, and we struggle with it ourselves, we have a marketing budget. And, we try to make that marketing budget stretch out so that it kind of touches, every customer or client. We're stretching it to where when we look at the cost of that marketing per customer, it's a very small amount. Where in reality, what we should be doing is saying, all right, here's our marketing budget. We should be taking 80% of that budget, again, the Pareto principle, and investing it towards the 20% of the clients that's generating 80% of the revenue, and taking the 20% of our marketing budget and investing that in the 80% that's only generating 20% of revenue. So I know I threw a lot of numbers in there, but hopefully you get the point, and that's what happens is, in many established companies still try to, they want to be focused. They want to develop their niche, but they still invest like they're casting a wide net. They're still investing out there and not really having focus on their marketing budgets towards that 20%. So again, it takes time, it takes effort, and it takes some investment to really identify, first of all, how do you define that customer that falls into the 20% or client based on your business? And then once you define them, what do we do? How do we market to them? Some businesses might be, again, as Jen talked about, you qualify for our platinum loyalty program because, you're one of those 20%,
Right.
You're even above the gold, the silver, and the bronze. You're a platinum loyalty customer. Or maybe like in our business, we want to make sure we're sending things to our 20% that maybe be more of a value type of communication. So we identify it's a certain business, we're sending them information that's going to be valuable to their business. We're not just sending them stuff to ask them to buy more. We're trying to bring value to them so that they think of us differently. So again, you just have to determine that based on the type of business you're in. But that's a critical piece. I think a lot of established businesses just don't get.
Establish, but be nimble. Hit them with the Nugget Alerts.
Nugget alert. I think we can get it, just because we know where we're getting our clients from. Sometimes we're like, we're not going to spend any extra money that we don't have to. We're not going to try anything new. And, so as we're saying that, collect your data and really figure out where these clients are coming from, still have an open mind of new ways to do things. and continue to try new things, because you never know, what could work for your business if you're just, complacent in your marketing system and never trying new things. I know I had someone come to me about, we all know the real estate market has been insane. And so there's this business that does welcome packets to anyone that buys a new house in our community, right? So I'm thinking, this is genius. So, only salon in the packet. It really wasn't that much money. So, I'm like, well, I'm not going to lose anything, so let's try it. And I told myself, let's try it for 6 months. So I'm thinking, new people, new to the area, they don't have a salon they're going to. This is a slam dunk for a very little amount of money that I was coming out of pocket. And I have to be honest with you guys, 6 months, I did not get one new client from that. Now, maybe were we planting seeds of new people that came into our community? Like, oh, I've been seeing this salon a lot. But to actually have someone come in with the flyer and saying, oh, this is where I heard, not one in 6 months. So even, after doing this for 5 years, I'm thinking, oh, this is fabulous. And we didn't get one person from it, to the best of my knowledge. So, we really didn't lose a whole lot of money. Again, it's a good opportunity to maybe to plant seeds, but it just comes back to, we did step outside of the box. We tried something new, and it just comes back down to, when you're in an intimate kind of business like mine, referrals are king, right? I know I like to work off of referrals. So I wanted to mention that was just something.
Well, see, something like that, Jen, I mean, an idea might be, and I'm not sure, I think it's a matter of public information, if you were able to find out what new, what new people who moved into the area, and and get that list. So now they get something in the packet, from, welcome to the neighborhood,
Right.
from you. And then maybe, then maybe a month later, 2 months later, 2 weeks later, whatever you think, then they get a nice postcard from you, just
Right.
with a little handwritten note saying, hey, welcome to the neighborhood. We're a local business. We'd love for you to check us out. No, by the way, for checking us out, you get a little bit of a something. So, maybe it just needs to have a second touch or something like that, because, maybe that would bring more people.
Yeah, I mean, I think, again, I still think it was a good investment because, we hear it all of the time. I mean, if you're loyal to one pizza shop and all of a sudden there's a new one that comes in, I mean, and it's a little bit closer to your house, it's going to take people a little bit before they switch over to your business. But I think it's important to mention marketing your business as a whole and marketing to your current customers or your current guests are really two different things. Wouldn't you agree, Dad?
Yeah.
I mean, again, you guys already know I'm not a big, let's throw a bunch of discounts out there, depending on what business you're in. But what happens when you do get a new customer inside of your business for the first time? How are we, what are we sending them away with to making sure that they had a great experience inside of your business? So to me, there's just so many different layers of marketing. I think sometimes we just think really inside of the box, newspaper ads and social media ads and all of those very not personal ways of just getting our names out there. But then how are we marketing to our current guests? Because what businesses need to know right now is everyone has plenty of options.
Right.
right?
That's right.
So we have to make sure that we're marketing to our current guests, and making sure that they know how much we appreciate their business, because we know that they have plenty of options every single day and they still choose us. So what does our marketing plan look like for that? And that's why we've developed a loyalty um, system inside of our salon, because I know that there's 5 other salons within a 10-mile radius, and I'm honored that they're coming to our business. So, they're thinking outside of the box on all those different levels really sets you apart from the next coffee shop, the next pizza shop, the next insurance agency, the next hair salon. And those little touches really, really do go a long way. And I would put that all inside of our marketing budget, whether we're marketing to our current clients or new clients or whatever. That all has to be inside of our budget. And that was something I had to learn later on too.
I mean, you bring up a good point. I think, and that's something we talk a lot about, in our world is, and you mentioned it, is the number of touches. Sometimes in your marketing, you build out a marketing and, and you don't, and you get something out there to your target market and, you don't get much of a response. A lot of times people won't do it again. They don't, they kind of stop, maybe they'll try 2 or 3 times. But statistics show in many cases, you have to get north of 5 or 6 touches, to your point, Jen, especially if you're going to try and get someone from a place where they have some loyalty to check you out. Again, you have to be able to get north of that 5 or 6 touches if you're going to get them to give you a try. Because why should they? They're happy where they're at. There's their pizza doesn't give them a bellyache afterwards, and they feel good, and whatever it may be. So but you kind of keeps touching them, getting something in front of them, and and then maybe you catch them at that point that maybe pizza was a little cold when they got it. There was a little bit of a disappointment, and the next thing hey, you know what? Let's try J.Faith next time. Or I come home and my hairdresser just didn't seem to be too enthusiastic about what she did with my hair this time, and and then there you are. You're top of mind. So you have to just figure that out too. Without blowing your budget out of the water. With what it might cost. You've got to figure out how to do that, and that's where the technology comes from, right? That's the neat thing about being an entrepreneur today is technology that allows you to get those touches in at a very, very low cost. I mean, we had in one of our earlier podcasts, we had Vincent and Jane Sear on, with the real estate. Again, they're just masterful and just doing different things to, again, I mean, they're sending me stuff and I'm not even in the market for a house, right? But I bought a house from them. They sold a house for me. They've, I think 2 or 3 of the kids now have used them to, buy houses. And so again, I'm probably in that 20% because they know might be a someday where I'm ready to sell a house again, and I'm going to be top of mind. And, so, or they're going to know, but they're always sending things out and it's not expensive stuff. It could be a video, they're always good at sending me a video on my birthday, singing happy birthday to me, so there's programs out there. I know we're looking at a program now to utilize video, better to connect with our clients, so just things like that. There's just so many tools that, are really not that expensive, when you look at it, from a marketing perspective.
Well, and it's funny that you said that because, as I use technology for literally everything, and we were talking about the holiday season is coming and this and that, and if we haven't seen one of our customers in 8 months, then we automatically have an email going out to them, right? And I was just on a call and they were like, get out your postcards and handwrite, right? So they're actually telling me the opposite of like, I'm so technology that I have it on automatic because it makes my life easier. But you're right. Sometimes we have to take a step back and say, hey, let me write a note. And that goes a long way. So I hope we're not confusing you, but a good balance of both will give you the right marketing plan. That's for sure.
And at the end of the day, you just have to keep doing it. You have to hone in on what you know works. You have to still, regardless if you are 5 years in, 30 years in, you have to keep, figuring out how people want to receive your information. You have to keep looking at how ways to stand out in your business. You have to hone in on who your clientele is. And then again, casting the wide net so that you connect with in some way, shape, or form all of your clients, whether they're that 20% or 80%, to still let them know that, you are who they should be doing business with and that you appreciate their business. So you just have to keep on doing it forever and ever and ever and ever. And if you don't, you're not going to be in business. So we hope to our listeners that you guys have enjoyed part 2 of our marketing and selling series. We are excited to be bringing you a couple of new episodes in the next few weeks on some new topics, on some recaps, and keep in mind too, you can shoot us an email at two-daughters, TWO, 2 daughters and their dad @gmail.com with any questions that you would like for us to answer on our podcast. So we hope you've enjoyed today. Until we can be together again, take care of each other, but most importantly, take care of yourself. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye. We want to thank you for listening today. Please subscribe so you never miss an episode. Leave us a positive review. And we want to say thank you to our sponsors, Dempsey, Weiss & Associates and J.Faith Hair Studio.